In today's video, I'm going to show you how to properly breathe and brace when lifting.
Get up and get down, get up and get down.
In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create tremendous core stability through a few cues on how to properly breathe and brace. Now, let's first talk a little anatomy. If we look at our spine, the low spine right here is the most vulnerable, but the most important part of your body when we're talking about lifting, because the more stable we maintain our low back, the more power we can derive into our legs, into our arms. And if we lose spinal integrity, we also increase our injury risk. Now you can see there's not a lot of bones surrounding the spine right here, which means that we have to create the stability by honing in on how we use the muscles that surround our abdominal cavity on the sides, front, back, top, and bottom, which is your pelvic floor. Now, that means that we need to understand how to properly breathe and brace. And in doing so, we create a pressurized ball, basically, of stability that allows us to utilize our core for stability and improve our distal performance and athleticism. Now, when we talk about proper breathing, a lot of people use the term belly breathing. What that means is that they often think about just pushing their stomach straight out. That's not what we're looking for. We also don't want to chest breathe. If you see a lot of people, they get under the barbell and they breathe into their chest. What that's doing is not utilizing your diaphragm appropriately, and it's changing your spinal mechanics and moving into a more extended posture. What we want to do is learn how to diaphragmatic breathe. This is what you're going to do. You're going to put your thumbs into your sides, into your obliques. Now don't go straight forward, take your six pack, go just out to the side and push your thumbs. So right here, Darren and I are going to breathe into the stomach to where you push that away. So you're going to breathe in and push the thumbs away and then back. So let's hone in on Darren. When he's taking that breath, when he's inhaling, he's not moving his hands. His actual abdominal cavity is pressurizing and pushing his thumbs away out to the side. This is proper breathing before we start our lift. This has nothing to do right now with bracing. This is just proper breathing. So again, he's not expanding just forward. He's thinking, fill the tank. And in doing so, he's expanding laterally. Now you can do this same cue, not only here, but you can also put your thumbs in the back, and you can also put your thumbs at just lower than belt line. So just underneath where you would normally have your pants. And if you breathe properly with this diaphragmatic breath, you should feel that area expand. Now you're gonna get the most expansion right here in your obliques, but that is going to be the physical cue that we're looking for every single time we lift. Now, what we talk about when we're bringing in the bracing section is you're just going to breathe and then you're going to stiffen everything down. And what that does is create a ton of stability in a 360-degree manner around your spine. So we're pressurizing with that diaphragmatic breath and then bracing as if I was about to punch him over the top. That's it. That is the proper breathing and bracing cue that you're gonna wanna use when you lift. So let's have Darren put a barbell on his back right now. And let's see this in real time. So Darren's going to walk the barbell out, and in this position, again, if I have my finger shoved into his oblique, he's going to breathe in a way that pushes my finger away. He's then going to brace and then start his squat. And then back up. Now, another cue that can be helpful for some people is to think ribs down. Too often people overextend and they overarch their low back. And what that does is it limits their ability to maintain that proper breath. So think ribs down. We have an optimal alignment between the top of our abdominal cavity around where your sternum is. And then we have this line down here, which is the bottom of your pelvic floor. And both of those are going to be stacked on top of each other. And then he's going to maintain that posture all the way down. So let's get this shot from the side view. And I want to see Darren breathe, embrace, and then squat to that optimal depth to where everything sort of stays in line. So we're maintaining a neutral spine. Okay, squat down. Good, and then back up. Move the skeleton out of the way. Let's try one more. So he's breathing into his stomach, expanding, bracing, and then maintaining as he drops down. Now, what happens is that, come back up, if you were to round, so round your back, you won't be able to, so flex. And then right there, he's not gonna be able to get an optimal expansion. It's gonna limit his ability to breathe in this manner. So it's going to cut down his ability to maintain that stability. And then if you overarch, okay, again, same thing. Just try this at home right now if you're watching. Put your fingers into your sides, breathe, and then brace. And then try that again, but in the same sense, I want you to overarch your low back. You don't get nearly the amount of expansion, or if you flex your spine, you don't nearly get that amount of expansion as well. So the neutral spine is very, very important for allowing us to maximize our stability potential when it comes to breathing and bracing and creating that intra-abdominal cavity pressure. Okay, let's put that back up. Now, one of the new products that I've really enjoyed using recently for teaching proper breathing and bracing mechanics at home is called the breath belt. Now, this is how it's used. I'm gonna have Darren put that on. So it's going to wrap this side around first, and then it's got 2 layers. So he's gonna wrap that tightly, okay? And then that side comes around. Very good. So it's designed to be worn very tightly. Now, the belt itself is not constructed like a very strong weightlifting belt. Those belts do not have any give. So this is a very flexible belt, so it's not the exact same material. So Darren can actually breathe into the belt and feel his stomach rise and fall. And again, we're not breathing just straight forward. We're breathing laterally and expanding into the belt. So this is a very physical cue for giving us some of that tactile feedback, creating what I would call a sensory-rich environment to make that brain-body connection. A lot of people struggle to understand that proper breathing mechanic, and obviously you can't have your thumbs into your side whenever you're squatting. So this can allow you to put this on and lift and get that same feedback. Have that barbell on your back. Think, breathe into the belt. The belt will expand, and then start your squat, and it will give you that feedback of whether or not you're maintaining that expansion, that proper intra-abdominal cavity pressure the entire lift. Now, the one thing that's really cool about the breath belt is it also allows us, you can use, it's actually got pockets in the very first level, but we can just slide them in like this too. We can put these balls, that's actually, we'll unhook and put these in the 2 pockets on the front, and this is going to give you even more physical cueing, more sensory feedback. So you're gonna place these just to the outside, so over those obliques, and then this over the top, get a lot of pressure on it. So in this position right here, again, the balls are just to the outside of his 6-pack muscle that runs right here, so they're into his obliques. And right here, because the belt is so tight, it's pulling those lacrosse balls into his stomach. So his only cue is breathe and expand in a way that pushes the balls away. So take your breath, and you can physically feel the balls pushing out to the side. Can you feel that? Something like this can be very, very helpful for just ingraining that diaphragmatic breathing pattern into your motor pattern, into your ability to understand breathe, brace, and then squat. Because too often we assume that because you are breathing and alive, that you're breathing optimally for all your different events and movements that you're trying to do. And the more you can hone in on proper breathing and bracing patterns, the more you unlock future potential to lift even more weight than you ever thought was possible. Now, the breath belt is something that you can use just on its own, just sitting around throughout the day, working on, slap it on, try 20 diaphragmatic breaths. This is also something that you can use, and I'd probably take the balls out for it, but you can just use as your own sort of feedback route whenever you're doing light lifts. Obviously with your heaviest lifts, especially for lifters out there that like to use a regular weightlifting belt, the belt's gonna be helpful at creating even more intra-abdominal cavity pressure. But for our lighter lifts, we don't necessarily need to wear a belt, and I actually caution a lot of people from putting on a belt too soon. Using this, I've been putting this on for about any lift between that 70 to 85%. And again, it's not holding me back like a regular weightlifting belt, but it's giving me that tactile feedback, that sensory rich environment so that I can expand optimally and perform my squats. And this is something that I first saw from Chris Duffin of Kabuki Strength, so I want to give a shout out to him for introducing this product to me. Again, breath belt, it's not a necessity that everyone needs, but it can be a very helpful product for teaching you proper breathing and bracing mechanics. I'm gonna have a link to the breath belt in the description of this video if you guys do want to check it out. Let me know if you have any questions about the proper breathing and bracing mechanics for today, but the same mechanic applies for deadlift, squats, cleans, snatches, any lift that you would perform. Breathe, brace your core, and then perform your lift. And that's how you're gonna lift big weight and keep your body safe. Hope you guys liked today's video. And again, until next time, happy squatting.
They say that energy flows where attention goes, so I pay no mind. Why waste my time with all these negative cats scratching? So caught up in their egos, these people have lost.